Hello YouTube, SkillCap released a tier list for all 5 lanes for patch 12.1, and I basically wanted to take a look at the video and give my opinion on if the tier list is accurate or not. And yeah, basically how I will be doing it is I'll only focus on S and A tier champions, because B and C and D tier champions are not really relevant. So yeah, I'll just take a look at the S and A tier champions, and then yeah, we'll just start with the top lane.
Down OP tier slots. Teleport throughout Challenger and solo queue, he struggles mightily in the lower ranks, which is why Riot's buffing him for 12.1. Q mana cost is lowered from 60 scaling to 40 to 55 scaling to 35. Cooldown on Q is also lowered from 5 to 4.5 seconds. Ever since Grasp was nerfed on GP, his lane bully potential has not been as potent, so these buffs look to compensate for that. For the higher elos, Gangplank will be a solid pick, but since our tier list is catered towards Diamond and below, his placement will remain on the lower end. B tier is where you'll find GP as an average top lane pickup. Taking a look at the complete top lane tier list, Shen and Tahm Kench will reign supreme, locking down OP tier slots. Teleport changes will lead to even more priority for Ignite on Shen. Ignite users actually win about 2% more than TP, so if you haven't made the swap over already, definitely look to do so. Tahm will continue to be one of the most...
I quickly want to say that just because Ignite has 2% higher win rate or whatever than TP, I don't know where he has the stats from, but just because the Ignite has higher win rate doesn't mean that TP is useless. TP is still really, really good. It just cannot be used for impacting the map globally, except for defending tower dives before 14 minutes. After 14 minutes, TP is good outside of lane, and pre-14, you most likely will just use the TP to your own lane. So you don't have to swap from TP to Ignite due to the TP changes. It's a top laner.
Reliable top laners, as the skill required to play him is low in relation to how powerful he is. Uxin top has really picked up traction in high elo as of recent, but will cool off a bit in 12.1 due to shield bone nerfs. Tanks are the best risk to reward top laners for the current meta. Sunfire and Frostfire buffs in preseason have turned champs like Tahm, Shen, Mundo, Malphite, and Poppy into extremely consistent picks. It will be really interesting to see how the top lane meta evolves due to the teleport changes. As new trends emerge, you can bet we'll be the first to fill you in. The highest priority picks to climb low elo the fastest include Teemo, Mundo, and Nasus. A couple of high value bans to consider are Malphite, Teemo, and Tahm Kench.
Okay, so let's just start. Akshan, yes, pretty good. Riven, no. Unless if you want trick, don't play this champion. Malphite, I agree. Wukong, I agree. Trundle, as a counter pick, sure. Camille, yes. Quinn, I don't agree on. Fiora, yes. Garen, yes. Vayne, I don't agree on. Poppy, sure, why not? Graves, I don't agree. Teemo, sure. Nasus, I don't agree on. Urgot, yes. Jax, yes. Trinity, yes. Cassion, no. And Mundo, sure. Then we have Victor, no. Vladimir, sure. Cyan, yes. Illaoi, actually Illaoi is fine. Lilia is not a top laner. Cho'Gath is good. Ornn, yes. Heimdallr, no. Mordekaiser is fine. Set, Klett, I don't like Warwick top lane. Yone is solid, don't pick Rengar. Aurelia is good. Yorick, if you for whatever reason play this champion. Zac is a jungle champion. There's pretty good. Kayle is pretty good. Aatrox's pretty good. So, yeah. More than half of them are correct. But again, that's just my own opinion for top lane. But it's funny how they're adding a lot of junglers into top lane that don't even belong further down the list. So, yeah.
I don't think anybody saw Rek'Sai nerfs coming, but Riot has a couple changes in store. E physical damage will be altered, going from 50 scaling to 90 to 55 scaling to 75. E tunnel cooldown is increased from 26 scaling to 14 seconds to 26 scaling to 18 seconds. It's actually a damage buff for the first 7 levels if you're playing Q max Rek'Sai. Q-Max does heavily outperform an E-Max in solo queue, so it's a little strange Riot is taking this approach. Rek'Sai is a jungler who wants to be proactive early on, so a buff to offer stronger snowball power is great. Level 7 onwards, you will begin to feel the effects of the change. However, if you're massively ahead early on, it won't matter all too much. Overall, we expect the changes to turn out relatively net neutral, and will continue to rate Rek'Sai as a strong S-tier jungler. Diana was a top-tier jungler for
What a joke.
in Season 11, but got hit with a couple nerfs and slowly fell out of meta. Brighter days are ahead though, as Riot will be offering Diana an AP ratio increase on passive from 40 to 50%, along with passive monster damage ratio going from 250 to 300%. Passive monster damage buff is a revert to the 11.16 nerf, and the AP ratio increase is some extra juice. Diana was in a good state before the 11.16 change, so as a result of this buff, we can expect her to rise back to a similar power level. A good A-tier pickup is where we'll be placing Diana for 12.1. The jungle tier list looks very similar to where we left off in Season 11, with a couple minor alterations. Nunu and Warwick are proving to be the elite jungle options, as they're both seeing insane results with buffed Sunfire. Simple and effective junglers who can get around the map extremely fast to affect lanes better than most picks. Viego is moving out of OP tier due to the shield bow and wits end nerfs. Graves will follow suit and drop from S into A due to his mythics and shield bow and eclipse being hit. The junglers you'll want to spam to climb low elo.
And again, this is another smaller detail. It says Eclipse nerf,
Graves will follow suit and drop.
but if you take a look, it says melee. Graves is not melee, so this item is not nerfed for Graves. Sorry, I got triggered.
S into A due to his mythics and shield bow and eclipse being hit. The junglers you'll want to spam to climb low elo the fastest are Warwick, Trundle, and Nunu. Vi, Viego, and Nunu are optimal ban choices for 12.1. The mid lane meta.
Jesus, you skip through that fast, man. I think Viego is still good, Fiddle is still good, Talon is good, Sintal's good, Rammus is good, Trundle is good, Taka is good, Rek'Sai is pretty bad, Hecarim is good, Shaker if you want trick, pretty good, Master Yi, no point in playing, Kha'Zix pretty good, Kayn pretty good, Diana pretty good, Graves still pretty good, Amumu pretty good, Kinner still pretty good, Jarvan I don't think is that good. Udyr, I have seen like one build, so I guess I'll include him in this. Elise is pretty bad, Ivern pretty bad, Talia pretty bad, Sejuani pretty good, Skarner pretty good, Poppy pretty good, and Echo pretty good. So again, more than half, but yeah. And again, if you have, so basically the tier list is for Iron to Diamond that they made, and I'll just take the same approach. And if you have any questions why SF2, why some of the champions are where they are, and why I agree or why I disagree with them, or why one champion is not higher up or whatever, then just leave in the comment section down below, and then I will get to your comment and explain why I rate them as I do.
Optimal ban choices for 12.1. The mid lane meta has seen a very welcome shakeup throughout preseason, most notably with certain mages receiving a nice spike in power. Anivia, Lux, Kassadin, and Victor
All crown
are
champions are strong in mid lane at the moment.
solo queue picks. It's really no secret how influential Crown of the Shattered Queen has become, and it's a big factor as to why these four are hotly contested. Anivia is by far the most sleeper of the bunch, as the recent Archangel's buffs added another layer of strength.
That was actually a massive buff, not gonna lie.
Teleport changes are also great for a champion like Anivia, who wants to use the spell to tower more often than not. Same thing goes for Kassadin. A shorter cooldown on teleport is great to get you past the early game. Our top 3 low elo recommendations for mid lane are Lux, Malzahar, and Annie. A couple good ban options to have on your radar are Victor, Kassadin, and Uxin. Vayne had been the standalone.
But where the fuck is Kassadin on this list? Kassadin is not even here, is he? Okay, lovely. Fizz I think is pretty solid, Vex pretty solid, Darius is top lane champion, Rumble can be done if you just like spam your Q like on mid wave, but I don't think he's that good. Cillian, no. Set, no. Malzahar, always good. Akshan, pretty good. Pantheon is not a mid laner. Annie, always solid. Kayle can be used sometimes. Set, pretty good. Talon, Kiana, Ahri, pretty good. LeBlanc, can be okay. Corki, really good. Vlad, pretty good. This is an ADC champion. Lissandra is okay. Seraph's okay. Sol is an OTP champion. Cashew pretty good. Graves is pretty bad. Vi is not a mid laner. Cho'Gath is not a mid laner either. The Diana is better in jungle than she is in mid lane. Garen is not a mid laner either, but because DJ Swagpants plays Lethality, Garen mid, I'll put him here. 6, generally speaking, is better bot lane than he is in mid lane. Akali pretty good. Sias pretty good. Galio is pretty much utility. Karina's pretty good. Kennen is a top lane champion. Solo lane Pyke can work. Trendemir, I mean, Nemesis plays it in mid lane, but it's probably better top lane. Twisted Fate if you're pretty good at the game. And Echo, and then I would also put Kassadin in S tier. Not sure why he's not here.
A shorter cooldown on Malzahn. Vayne had been the standalone best solo Q ADC in recent patches, but that changes.
All lethal tempo ADCs are good, but
will shift up and join Vayne in OP as they're the best carries on very similar power levels. As mentioned earlier, Vayne takes a step back this patch due to shield bow and wit's end nerfs. We've kept her in OP tier for now though, due to how broken she was before. All we expect the nerfs to accomplish is bringing her in line and on the same level as Jinx and Jhin. Strong scaling marksmen are really liking the current meta, and so many enchanters being played in the support role. Twitch and Cog are performing exceptionally well, but remain on the underrated side of things. A good Draven is going to be loving life in 12.1. No more teleport flank plays means the constant aggression can't be punished as frequently as before. Speaking of teleport, Ziggs gets a nice indirect buff due to the TP changes, as he always uses the spell to towers early on. It will actually be quite interesting to see if teleport makes its way back into meta on specific ADCs who want to bypass the laning phase. Samira has been in a rather underwhelming state for a while now, and with the shield bow nerfs, it's going to hold her back even more. There are so many better options higher up in the tier list, so unless you're a one-trick, we would advise looking elsewhere. Top 3 low elo ADCs for ranked include Vayne, MF, and Jinx. The best bans of the patch are Vayne.
Okay, I don't agree on Estral. Twitch, yes. Kog'Maw, yes. Arctis, yes. Draven, yes. Caitlyn, as long as you don't blind pick her, yes. Six, yes. Heimerdinger, no. Swain, no. Kai'Sa, yes. The new AP build is pretty good. MF, still pretty good. Veigar, pretty good. Saya, yes. Seraphine, no. Talia, no. Casio, not really. Ashe, still pretty good. Lucian, still pretty good. I would also put Samira up in 8 here. So, yeah.
Ezreal, and Jinx. Archangel's buffs in preseason led to a massive jolt in strength for Sona, so Riot's issuing a couple nerfs to compensate. Armor growth was lowered from 3.3 to 3, E cooldown is increased from 12 to 14 seconds. Pretty minor nerfs overall, and considering how strong of a state Sona is in, the changes won't be enough to shift her placement on the tier list. Sona will continue to thrive as a very respectable S tier pickup. Soraka, Nami, Lulu, and Blitzcrank are the most OP support picks to begin Season 12. Low-skill floor enchanters like Soraka and Lulu are super reliable as you're always going to provide value to your team. Blitz takes a little more skill to pull off, but is well worth the time and does an amazing job at shutting down these highly contested enchanter picks. Teleport nerfed will allow aggro supports to take back some of the spotlight as well. Blitz, Rel, Maokai, and Leona are a few to keep your eye on, as they're all great aggressive carries for 12.1. You're looking at Soraka, Lux, and Zyra as the godlike supports to climb low elo. Nami, Blitz, and Lulu are all valuable ban.
Lux is fine, don't play Maokai. Janna's fine, Rel is fine, Morgana's fine, don't play Cillian, don't play Zyra. Sona pretty good, Seraph if you wanna play mate and carry. Leona pretty good, Null is pretty good, Amumu support is dead. Bard support pretty good, Taric is fine, Swain pretty bad, Vel'Koz, I mean if you don't like Seraph then you might as well pick this. Pyke pretty good, Alistar pretty good, Alistar pretty good. Karma I wouldn't even put there, Fresh pretty good. Braum I guess is fine, Brand is also fine, and please do not pick Shaco support. So, that rounds up my tier list. So, once again, thank you to SkillCap for making the video, making my job a lot easier. I think a lot of the picks in SN8 tier should not be in SN8 tier for many various different reasons. And they're also just putting random champions that doesn't even play that lane in the tier list here. And putting stuff that was good back in the middle of Season 11, still thinking that it's good in the start of Season 12, even though it indirectly got nerfed for many different reasons and the meta completely shifted. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the tier list. If you have any questions about why the champion is not in the tier list or why it's not rated higher or lower, then once again, leave a comment in the comment section down below and I will get to your comment and explain what why and how I feel about the champion that you mentioned. And yeah, if you like this video, then remember to leave a like, and if you want to see more videos, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then always I hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video or on my next live stream on Twitch. So thank you for watching and see you guys.